All right, today we're throwing two productivity heavyweights into the ring. You've got the fast and furious Pomodoro Technique in one corner and the slow, steady 90-minute rule in the other. So which one is going to win the battle for your focus? Well, let's find out. You know that feeling, right? You've got a to-do list that just keeps growing. Your phone is buzzing off the hook, and at the end of the day, you're totally wiped out, but you look back and think, what did I actually get done? It's like you're spinning your wheels. You're putting in the time, for sure, but is that time really working for you? And here's the thing. It's probably not your fault. You're not lazy. The problem is we're all living in this modern focus crisis. Our brains are in a constant tug of war with dings, pings, and a million open browser tabs. And we've all bought into this myth of multitasking, this idea that we can do everything at once. Well, spoiler alert, our brains just don't work that way. Okay, so let's meet our first contender. Stepping into the ring, we've got the fast-paced, super-structured Pomodoro Technique. So what exactly is the Pomodoro Technique? Well, the idea is deceptively simple. And yeah, it's named after the Italian word for tomato because the guy who invented it used a little tomato-shaped kitchen timer. But don't let the cute name fool you. Its real power is psychological. See, it's not just about setting a timer for 25 minutes. It's about giving your absolute undivided attention to one thing for that short burst of time. It makes starting feel easy, and honestly, it makes it harder to get distracted. So here's how you do it. Step 1, you pick one task. Just one. That's key. Step 2, you set a timer for 25 minutes. And for those 25 minutes, nothing else exists. No email, no phone, just the task. When that timer goes off, you stop. I mean it, you stop immediately. Then you take a short 5-minute break. Do 4 of those cycles, and boom, you've earned yourself a longer break, maybe 15 or 30 minutes, to really clear your head. It's that simple, but it's incredibly effective. So who's this really for? Well, if your mind tends to wander off, this technique is like a friendly little leash that gently tugs you back to focus. It's also amazing for those giant, overwhelming projects. You know the ones? It just chops them up into little, non-scary, bite-sized pieces. And it's a procrastinator's worst enemy. Because let's be real, anyone can convince themselves to work for just 25 minutes. That's the magic of it. All right, let's bring out our second contender. This one's a real powerhouse, and it's less about a kitchen timer and way more about listening to your body's own internal clock. Meet the 90-minute power cycle. Now, this whole approach is rooted in science, specifically biology. Your brain isn't a machine that runs at the same speed all day long. Instead, it naturally cycles between periods of high energy and low energy. These are called Ultradian rhythms. So the big idea here isn't to fight your body with a timer, but to actually work with it. It's about learning to ride that wave of peak mental energy. And the strategy here is totally different. First, you pinpoint your single most important task for the day. Then, you block out a solid 90-minute chunk of time. We're talking phone on silent, notifications off, a real fortress of solitude. You just dive in deep. And then, and this is crucial, after that intense focus session, you don't just grab a coffee. You take a real break, 20, maybe 30 minutes to completely unplug and let your brain fully recharge before you catch the next wave. This one is a game changer for a very different type of work. Think about creative projects, deep strategic thinking, coding, anything that requires you to really get lost in it. It's all about achieving that amazing state of flow, where time just disappears and you're doing your best work. So if you're someone who finds that 25-minute Pomodoro timer kind of annoying and it just pulls you out of the zone, then this might be the one for you. Okay, introductions are done, both fighters are in their corners, it's time for the main event. Let's put these two methods head to head and really see how they compare. So let's break this down point by point. First up, the work sprint. Pomodoro gives you these short 25-minute bursts. The 90-minute rule, on the other hand, is all about that long 90-minute deep dive. Now, what about the breaks? Pomodoro is all about frequent, short, 5-minute breathers. The 90-minute rule demands a much longer, more deliberate recovery period. The whole mental game is different too. Pomodoro is perfect for just getting started, for overcoming that initial resistance. The 90-minute rule is more about syncing up with your body's natural energy flow. And finally, flexibility. Pomodoro is super easy to squeeze in anywhere. The 90-minute rule, not so much. You really have to plan for it and block out that time. So, who's the winner? Well, here's the twist. There's no single champion. The real winner is the technique that's going to work for you. It's all about your personality, your work, and your day. So it's time for you to pick your champion. Maybe the easiest way to figure this out is to ask yourself one question. Are you a sprinter or are you a marathoner? Do you thrive on quick, intense bursts to knock out a bunch of different things? Or do you need that long, steady pace to really sink your teeth into one big, complex challenge? Whichever one you identify with, well, that's a pretty big clue. So let's make this super clear. You should go with Pomodoro if your day is filled with a bunch of smaller tasks, emails, admin, little things, and your biggest battle is just staying focused. But if you need long, quiet stretches of time to do creative work or solve tough problems, you've got to try the 90-minute rule. It's built for that. But at the end of the day, you have to remember this one crucial thing. The best productivity system out there isn't some secret formula. It's the one you'll actually use. The goal isn't to find the perfect system. It's to find your system. So play around with them. Try one in the morning, one in the afternoon. Mix and match. See what actually clicks. And I want to leave you with this one last thought to chew on. Maybe this whole conversation, this whole battle, isn't really about mastering your clock at all. What if the real secret to being productive is mastering your energy? Because when you stop fighting your own biology and start working with your natural rhythms, well, that's when things really start to change. That's when you become pretty much unstoppable.